Today we're starting a new project, and this one's pretty exciting because we're working on the living room. So as you can see, we emptied out the whole room and we're ready to work. Now this room should be really easy, but as you can see we do have some work to do. This wall is still open, and that's where there used to be a large doorway that we closed up to make the living room more functional. Now we have wall space to put furniture. We still have a doorway here, which leads into the front entryway in our bedroom. That's staying. We already reframed this opening to the size we want, so I just got to trim this wall back a little bit. We also reframed this side. That doorway used to be, the wall was right here. I took a foot off of it, so now we have a much wider hall. That's going to be nice. So we've already done a lot of work previously, and that's why I think this room's going to be pretty smooth. We actually also painted the ceiling. This is one of the first projects we did in our home, was painting the ceiling. So again, it's all done. The hardest part of this job is going to be this floor, mostly because we have some big holes that need patching, and we have some loose floorboards over here. It's a little bit wonky, and some of these boards are popped. What I want to do is actually just lift all this flooring right here, and that way we can relay it. We can make sure the subfloor is secured, and I can just patch this big vent, this little vent, and this wall where we put the wall in. Now over here in this old doorway, we ended up putting a sub panel and a media center panel, structured media box. But we are all done in there. Everything's finished, so that can be closed up. So all I'm going to do is pull those boards down in the corner. If we take these down and just start them over here, we can lay them on the wall this way, and then we'll just count how many boards we need and finish the wall. Enough talking. I just wanted to give you guys the rundown of what to expect in this renovation. So now that you know the plan, we're going to get right into it, and I think I'll start with pulling these boards off the wall. Now I don't know if I can do this, but I want to get these off without damaging them. I already cracked this one, so it's not really useful. But oops. Okay.
Wow, that's a noise. That was loud.
Now the whole point of removing those to just put them back up is that since these are tongue and groove, they have to interlock into each other. And it would be hard to line them up with boards here, and try to put them in between them. It'll be a lot easier to just start fresh and work my way over from this point. So these boards that I took off, Ash, I could just
put them right back up.
I don't want this paper in here. Let me see how these go.
Trim would cover it. I would use it.
You would?
Why not?
I guess the more wood we can use, the less wood we have to buy.
Yep.
Now some of these boards actually came off from that wall over here that I shortened.
That's all there is.
Yesterday, we made really good progress on that wall, but today we're going to finish it because, as you can see, we went to the store, picked up new wood, and last night when we got home, we ran it all through the router table and put a tongue and groove on them. So these boards are a pretty close match to the original boards that were on the wall. So we're going to get working, seal up that wall, and be done with this part of the project. I just got the last piece in the corner. It was a little bit of a fight to squeeze that last one in there, but we did it and the wall is done. After doing this job was so easy and so quick that it makes me wonder why we waited so long to get this done. This room has been sitting like this forever, but it feels good, it looks good, and hopefully we can blend it in when we stain this to match this. I'm predicting that when we stain it, it will stand out. It'll be a totally different color just because of the nature of this being old wood with a different stain on it versus that. But we'll do our best. Now I gotta clean up my mess because I just got done cutting back this doorway opening, but we're ready to start working on this floor and patching up this giant hole, plus some other spots. So I think that just the smartest way to do this is to start taking up these boards instead of patching this in. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll pull up the boards as gently as I can, and I don't know, we're going to try to weave them back in and do the best job we can. One of the problems is I don't think I want that one. It's just too nasty. Look at the taste of it. Probably won't be used because it's cut out for the vent just a little bit, and I think it'll be ugly. So I'm just going to set this one outside. I know. Oh, the floor had a lot of problems over here. Well guys, we struggled through it. We got it done. I ended up having to cut all the boards that go into the closet and some of them into Maverick's room here so that I could get a straight edge to work off of. But that wasn't too bad, just had to be done. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up, but look at this. Look at how much dirt and sand has sifted underneath these boards over the years. We'll just get this floor cleaned up. I'm gonna vacuum. We're gonna pull all the nails out of these old boards, set them aside, and get ready to start patching the subfloor. Guys, I did not expect the subfloor to be so rotten. You know, from underneath it looks like a solid subfloor, but look at this. I would go right through that. Oh man, this whole thing is rotten. Now, before I peeled this paper up, I was getting nervous because every time I step on this floor, it was crunching under my feet. Now I can see why. This wood, it is completely decayed. This tells me that I have more work to do than I expected, and I'm glad that we pulled this floor up instead of just patching those holes, because this is not going to hold a nail. I can feel it. All this wood is like... I'm going to go ahead and keep going on this floor. I'm going to keep pulling this back until this gets solid again. So we're going to pull up a little more of this flooring and see what we have to work with. I could just feel the subfloor under here breaking when I pry on it. Oh, it's bad way over here. It makes me wonder about underneath their rooms how it is. I thought this was going to be an easy floor patch.
Yeah. And look what it turned into.
Amazing. I don't know how far back I'm going. I'm just going because I still feel the floor crunching.
Yep. That's the test.
Like that. Well, yeah, I know, but you know what? As far as holding nails,
Yeah.
it wins over OSB big time.
Yeah.
To put nails all over.
how dirty it gets underneath.
It's horrible.
It's like you almost can't even see the tar paper.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys, we're continuing on with lifting the floor. We've taken it back several boards, as you can see. And this is really weird because the wood floor is, I mean, it's solid. Look at it. The black on here, that's not mold. That's just from the tar paper, this black felt paper down here. So that's just black tar coming off the paper. But you can see the quality of the wood itself is intact. So there's no water damage to the floor whatsoever, but we are just falling through this subfloor. It is completely rotted. And from underneath the house, I've been under the crawl space so many times, there is no signs of rot. It looks like regular wood. I'm afraid to even walk on this, you can hear it, but like, look at this. It just, I'm going right through it. It's just trying to pry on it is sinking the tool right through this floor. It doesn't matter why it's happening. I mean, it does so we can prevent it in the future, but what's important is that we keep pulling up this floor, putting it aside, and even though we didn't expect this huge job right now, we have to do this. We're just gonna have to replace the subfloor and make it solid again. I've mentioned before, when we do tongue and groove boards, like on the ceilings especially, now we don't always put paper above it, but it helps to put paper, like a building paper, above your tongue and groove ceilings, because dust can sift through tongue and groove boards over the years, and on a ceiling you never notice it because you vacuum, you sweep, you live, but there is little bits of dust shaking down with the vibrations of life from your attic into your house. And this, when I mentioned that before, some people didn't believe me because they didn't understand the idea of dust coming through the ceiling. They said, it doesn't happen in my house. This is what we're talking about. This is mountains of sand under the solid wood floor. And it got there through the cracks because you walk around, it shakes, shakes, shakes.
Yeah, can we show this?
It's kind of disgusting.
Look at this.
It is thick, more than you'd see under a carpet sometimes.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm talking about, is over the years, yes, dust can get through the wood, through those cracks. I guess it's the right thing to do. We should just pull this floor up.
Yeah, definitely. We have rot. So when we first got into this project and started uncovering this rotted, decayed wood,
The first thought was water damage. This wood must have gotten wet and rotted and decayed. But the more we uncovered, the more we realized we were dealing with something bigger than water damage. Yes, there was a little bit of moisture damage in the wood. You can tell it had been damp at some point, probably condensation, or just excess humidity because the underside of the house was closed up for so long. But the real culprit of the problem is not water damage, it's insect damage. Believe it or not, this entire subfloor was destroyed by powder post beetles. Now, underneath the home, I've seen the little holes in the wood. I knew that the wood had insect damage, but I didn't think it was severe. I thought it was just a minor, typical old house. Yeah, there's some holes in the wood, but it looked good and it felt pretty solid, so I didn't pay much attention to it. I had no idea how bad the damage was throughout the wood where we couldn't see it. So powder post beetles are a family of beetles that are very tiny, very, very small, and they burrow into the wood, they bore a hole, and they eat the wood, they lay their eggs in the wood, and the cycle continues. The holes they leave are tiny. They're like a pen tip in size, so very, very small, like a 1/16 of an inch wide. Yeah, underneath we have holes everywhere. But like I said, the wood felt fine, it looked fine, so we thought no biggie. So the good news is we don't have too much water damage. The bad news is we have huge insect damage. We had no idea how weak the floor was under here and how dangerous that could be for the structure in the long run, especially with load-bearing walls and whatnot sitting on top of it. Now luckily we caught this problem, and also there are no live colonies infesting the wood. This looks like it's old damage. It was probably handled, sprayed, and taken care of. And I would have never known about it if I hadn't wanted to patch up those holes in the floor properly. So even though this is a lot of work and it's a lot of unexpected work, I'm glad I'm doing it. I'm glad we found it. So that's the story. Our house had a huge powder post beetle infestation. It really destroyed our floor. Insect damage right there. There probably is some soft spots, but it looks cleaner and it's more solid. Clearly more solid. These boards are missing just because they fell out, because they were next to the edge and didn't have any support under them. This is solid. This is solid. This is all good wood right here. But as we go toward the center and edge of this room, this way toward the middle of the house, we start getting all this softness. Look at these. But you can hear it crunching. I shouldn't be standing on it. These obviously are bad. Even over here. Yeah. It's not a matter of just tragically falling through the floor, even though you could in the middle. It's fairly sturdy, but you can hear it crunching under your feet and you know that it's decayed and you know that it's no good. What I guess we're going to do now is run to the store and pick up 6 sheets of plywood. We're going to try to find some good plywood. And then once we get those home, we're going to rip all this up. I don't want to leave a big pit in the house, so we need the wood on hand before we start that. Luckily, since this house was built in a balloon frame style, which means the structure was built, the walls were built before the floor, and the floor comes up to the walls, it makes it so easy to replace this subfloor. You know, in a typical modern construction, they build the floor framing, they put the subfloor on, they build the walls on top of it. So if you have a rotted spot in your floor, that floor goes under your walls. It's a big pain. I just hope that the floor joists are strong too. I know some of the floor joists, they have some little borer beetle holes and maybe a little powdery, but hopefully they got enough strength left that we don't have to worry about those. So here's the mess we're dealing with. We have all the floorboards lined up here. They're not going to stay. I just don't know what to do with them. We don't want them. We're not going to use them. I've really made a decision that it's not worth our time to deal with this old wood because it's not even that great and it's not going to match what we do in the kitchen and what we do in the dining room because we don't have enough wood for these rooms as it is. So let's just do one flooring throughout. It's going to look better. So we'll scrap this wood and we'll order a new floor eventually. Now, we went to the store, we picked up all the plywood and all the wood that we would need. In fact, I'm going overkill. This is what I'm going to do because I want to do it right the first time. I picked up 7 sheets of plywood to be safe, and I picked up 26 2x8s, which I'm going to replace every single floor joist. And the reason I did that is because I figure if I'm going through this much work of pulling up the old subfloor, and if the old subfloor is so brittle, there's a chance that the joists aren't going to be perfect as well. Even though they look solid, I can definitely see some insect holes in them, and some of them are twisted and have problems dry. They're probably a little bit dry rotted. So why not do it right, spend a couple $100 and just put new floor joists in. I can get them 16-inch on centers so that our new plywood goes down flat and strong and safe, and we know it's going to last a long time. So that's what I did. That means this is going to be a mega project, and unfortunately right now it just started raining. So we have all the supplies outside in the bus. It's raining, makes it a little slower, but we're still going to get it done. So I'm going to start on that project, do the best I can, and we'll give you the update next time to show you how it's coming along, and hopefully it'll be finished. But unfortunately, that's all we have for now. Thanks for watching. Don't worry about our ordeal. We'll get through it, and this house will be better than ever. Sometimes you just gotta get it done. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for coming along, and until next time, take care.